Hey, good evening. Welcome to Connector Dots. Today is Leadership Thursday, and we're going to be supporting your professional development. I am your host, Kimber Booth. I'm a pharmacist, healthcare leader, and entrepreneur. I help pharmacists strategically advocate for roles and resources to advance pharmacy practice and have engaging careers. What are your strengths? Discovering your strengths is an important part of your personal and your professional development self-assessment. So all of your planning does always start with a self-assessment, and discovering your strengths is critical for that. The Discovering Your Strengths book and Strengths Finder test were discovered by Don Clifton, and it has now been collaboration with Gallup, who you may know that organization does do a lot with employee engagement and leadership. So I think it's been a great collaboration. And they have a tool called the CliftonStrengths Finder, and they have a report where you can get that's the 34 themes. So I find that this is a very useful tool. I've done it both for myself. I've even repeated it and also used it with teams as part of a team development program. So the Clifton Strength themes are like your talent DNA. That's what they say. And they can explain the ways where you are most natural about how you think, feel, and behave. So it's good to know what those inherent strengths and even what some of your innate abilities are as you're developing your development plan. As I often say, and definitely Mr. Buckingham and Don Clifton, who were involved with putting this together, definitely say that, if you work on your weaknesses and the things that you consider you're not good at, you can get to a certain level of achievement. But unless you really optimize your strengths, you cannot be exceptional. And what I like to say is you need to develop your strengths into superpowers. So it's definitely important. And if you can use your strengths, if you know what they are, and you can use them in work and even at home, their research definitely shows that you will be more engaged at work. You're going to be more productive, because you're using your strengths, right? Things are going to be easier when you're using your strengths, and you'll be happier and even healthier. So I think those are great things to know about. So as I said, the Strengths Finder, I actually have a copy of one of the books, and they actually have a few different books, and they do tend to update it. This happens to be the one for strengths-based leadership, so it's written in a little bit different focus from a leadership perspective, but you'll still complete the Strengths Finder 2.0 test. It's about $50 to get the full report, which I do recommend. There's a less expensive version, which just gives you your top 5. But I find that the full report is beneficial, and it even includes some recommendations or action steps for how to develop yourself. So again, this is one of the tools that you would want to do as part of your self-assessment. And what's great is, you'll want to get feedback from other people and do other self-assessments to help you decide what you want to prioritize. This is nice because you can do it yourself and you don't necessarily have to bother somebody. And I love the outcome of it. And it tells you what your strengths are. Now, I mentioned there's 34 strengths or potential strengths that they're going to assess you on, and they will group it into 4 categories. And it's executing, influencing, building relationships, and strategic thinking. And there's a subset of the strengths under each of those. So many people will have a combination, some strengths in each bucket. And it'll definitely give you advice that, if you are really strong in one area, have no strengths in one of those buckets, ways that you can develop yourself. So again, it's going to give you scores. It's going to rank the most important ones, where you have influence in each of these areas, and help you to prioritize maybe, again, where you don't have strengths in one of those key areas, because you really want to be able to be effective in executing, influencing relationships, and strategic thinking. So the executing topic, and I'll read through a few of those, and then in a little bit I'll share with you what my strengths are. So for executing, these are people with dominant executing themes, know how to make things happen. I like to say that I fall into this myself. My big goals of being strategic and supporting execution. So the specific strengths under here, I'm just going to read them so I don't miss any. Achiever, arranger, belief, consistency, deliberative, discipline, focus, responsibility, and restorative. So maybe just by hearing some of those ring true to you and what you know to be your strengths. Hopefully for some of this, it will just reinforce things you already know about yourself. But I have found, both for myself and for my teams, that it's been insightful. So the next topic is influencing. So people with this kind of more dominant aspect of influencing know how to take charge, speak up, and make sure their team is heard. The specific strengths under influencing are activator, command, communication, competition, maximizer, self-assurance, significance, and woo, W-O-O, and that stands for winning others over. So, I love a lot of these words. I definitely love the word maximizer. I think that is a great way to show the value of a person in maximizing, or sometimes I like to refer to the book multipliers for having that kind of impact on other people. Relationship building, the next one is where relationship building themes have the ability to build strong relationships that can help their team work together and then make their team greater than the sum of its parts. And the specific strengths here are adaptability, connectedness, which I would like to call, being a connector, developer, empathy, harmony, includer, individualization, positivity, and relator. And then finally, for strategic thinking, these are definitely people who can help teams consider what could be. They absorb and analyze information that can inform better decisions. So these definitely come from a leadership perspective. And some of these strengths include analytical, context, futuristic, ideation, input, intellection, learner, and strategic. So again, this is an example of the 34 discover your strengths that you would be able to identify if you do the Strengths Finder. Leave me a note and let me know if you've done this before. Luckily, when I have asked groups of people, when I'm giving talks or smaller coaching sessions, I do find that people are aware of this book and they have used it. The key, though, is then once you identify your strengths, it's good to know your strength, but we still want to develop it. So you want to make that strength into a superpower, like I said. So the key to that is getting it on your personal and professional development plan and identifying ways that you are going to develop that through the variety of activities that we talked about, I think, last week, where you want to ensure that you're doing things like professional training, more structured, trainings, networking, coaching type experiences. And finally, like on-the-job training, where you get to use that strength during your job and finding ways where you can help. And believe me, as a manager, this has helped me. And that's why I've liked to do this with my teams in the past, because it's definitely good to know where your team has strengths and knowing that you can tap into that person to help support them, because this is something that they are innately strong at and can benefit the team. And we know from the research I mentioned before that people, by using their strengths, will be more effective at work, healthier and happier. So I do want to share with you what my strengths are. And they really haven't changed. Again, I've taken this a few times just for interest, but it started, I think the first version I have is from about 8 years ago. Initially, when I was working in a pharmaceutical company at the time, we did this with the team. And so again, they haven't really changed. So I guess that's a good sign. So winning others over, woo, is one of my strengths. And then it's achiever, relator, learner, and focus. So, I kind of have some in each of the categories, which is, helpful. Then I have some executing, some of the focus. I have the winning others over in terms of influence, learner and strategic with the strategic thinking, and then the relator under the relationship building. So for me, that was a good sign. And definitely, again, when you get the full report, you get the next layer down, and again, know where you are in all of them. So do encourage you to do that. I'm, happy to talk more with you. Wanted to keep this short as you're journeying home and getting this quick connector dot, which are these brief, candid insights on healthcare, pharmacy, and life for connectors and pharmovators. So I thank you for joining me today, and want to let you know that tomorrow for Pharmovation Friday, I'm going to be discussing Get the Medicines Right, Blueprint for Change. And I want to invite you to please go to my website at kimberbooth.com/connect, where I will be able to give you updates on these sessions and other information for you to help grow in your career and for me to support you. You'll have access to these recordings in an online portal that I provide for my community. So thank you again for joining me. I encourage you to be bold, be a connector, and advance practice. Take care. Hope you're well. Bye-bye.